In the beginning, graphics didn't exist. Everything was done with just text. And under the hood, it still is. So when you learn to input, process, and output text, you're learning the nuts and bolts that hold everything together. If it helps, you can think of everything a computer does like a recipe. The ingredients are your inputs. The instructions describe the process that manipulates those ingredients. And the output, that's what you're after. What's that storage thing about? Well, sometimes a process has side effects that change the state of things. And the next time you follow the same process with the same inputs, you get different results. Like when a cake pan spills and the next time you use the oven, it smokes up the house. Some side effects are good and intentional. Others are bad. For now, we'll keep things rather simple and stay away from side effects. So essentially, you have hopefully installed Eclipse. And we're going to try and test and make sure that your install works. And you're also going to write your first basic program, the most basic thing we can do, and just to test and make sure that everything works, and to make sure that you know the process that you need to follow to submit assignments. So if you start up Eclipse, you're going to get this window probably that looks like this, where it's asking you where your workspace is, and you should probably browse to some folder or some location that you can find later. It's really important that you know where that workspace is. And so I've put mine on a drive with school GOA. And then I click OK, and it takes a minute or so to launch Eclipse. Well, when you see this for the very first time, you're going to get a window like this. And you've got overview, samples, tutorials, what's new. You can look at all of this if you like. But I'm not going to bother with any of that. I just close that, and it expands this thing that was over to the left. And we will spend most of our time in this part of the window. Now, Eclipse has a whole lot of features that we won't use, and we'll explain more later. But just to get started, we're going to create a new Java project. And the project name, I'm going to call this Hello World. And so this is your project, this package explorer. Your project is going to be made up of a bunch of parts when you expand this. Right now there's SRC, that's your source code. That's the code that creates the Java program. We're not going to worry about the system library. For now, we'll just leave that closed. And now we're going to go File, New, Class. Okay? So each file within your project is going to be a separate class. And we're going to call this My First Program. And when we click Finish, now we've got this new file, myfirstprogram.java, inside of the source folder. And Eclipse goes ahead and starts out this public class, myFirstProgram. So whenever you write a computer program, you have to have at least one class, and we'll learn what this public class and myFirstProgram, the squiggly brackets, are about later. But for now, you can just type exactly what I have typed. And we want to import java.util.scanner. And it should be scanner with a capital S and a semicolon. Now down here inside of public class, my first program, I'm going to tab in, and then I'm going to say public static void main open round bracket string square brackets args. Outside of the close round bracket, I want to put an open squiggly bracket, and I hit return, Eclipse goes ahead and puts in a closed squiggly bracket for me. And here I'm just going to type system.out.println, and inside of quotation marks, hello world. And after the closed round bracket, a semicolon. Now, the computer is not smart. If you type anything wrong, if you type a colon instead of a semicolon, if you type a comma instead of a period, if you don't capitalize the S, any one little character that's incorrect, the computer won't know what you're doing, it won't work. We'll later on get to some of the details, but just now, for now, understand that you have to be very, very careful to type it exactly as I have it. If I hit this button over here that says run, it says select source, do we want to save it? Well, I haven't saved it yet, so it's just telling me to save it. I'm going to hit OK. And down here in the bottom, this is my output window. When I run a program, the output shows up here. And it's just saying hello world. This program just tells system, the computer system, to output a line of text that says hello world. That's about as basic as it gets. But we would like to input something. Okay, so we have to be able to scan something in. I'm going to declare a scanner. I'm going to say scanner. I'll call it my scanner. I'm going to say it's equal to some new scanner. And inside of round brackets, I'm going to put system.in and then a semicolon at the end, okay? And then after my system.out.println, I'm going to change this from hello world to what's your name with a question mark. And then after that, I'm going to say string name equals my scanner dot next with round brackets and a semicolon. And then after creating, so my scanner dot next is how we input the next thing, and it's going to store it in the variable name. More about storing stuff in variables, but for now we're just going to output system system.out print line hello inside of quotation marks hello, outside of the quotation mark a plus, we'll put a little space there after the hello before the close quote, and then name and then a semicolon. Now when we run it, it's going to say, do you want to save it? Yeah, I want to save it. It says, what's your name? Well, if we click down here and we type in Wayne, because my name is Wayne, and I hit enter, it says, hello, Wayne. It knows who I am. So the input, first it had an output, what's your name? The input was the thing that I typed, Wayne, and then another output, hello, and then this part of the output was determined by my input. So this is input, a little bit of process, and an output. So this is the first program. Don't worry if you don't understand everything that goes on. If you can type exactly what I type and hit play and it works, then your install of Eclipse was good. And that's what we're really mostly interested in at this point, is to know that you have correctly installed the JDK and Eclipse. Now, once you've got this working, you have got to submit it to me. So the next thing is to figure out how to submit an assignment. So I'm going to go over to look at my file browser, okay? And I'm in Windows. If you're using Mac, you've got to figure out a file browser. And I have browsed to the location where I created my workspace. Remember when Eclipse first started up and I told it to go to the E drive and school and GOA? Okay, so I had picked a location and now I have browsed to that location and I say, see this Hello World folder. Because when I created my project, I called the project Hello World, and whenever you create a new project, it creates a new folder. Now in Windows, I can right-click on this and say send to zip compressed zipped folder, and just hit enter. And it has created from this folder a file, a zip file. On a Mac, there is a way to zip up a folder. I'm not exactly sure how to do it. I know it can be done. It might be as simple as right-click. If you are on a Mac and you don't know how to zip up a folder, just go to Google and type in how to zip a folder on a Mac. And you'll get some instructions. It'll tell how to do it. Use Google. Google's your friend. It'll tell you how to do just about anything. So you need to find your folder for your project, zip it up, and this zip file is what I want you to send to me. So now, for this course, so I'm going to go into a student view so it looks for you on the screen just like you're going to see it. If you're in the modules, under assignment 4, you should see a button, Submit Assignment, in the upper right-hand corner. You click on it, it asks you to choose a file. So you pick your file, and you've got to browse to that location where you've got your zip file, and select that zip file, and send that file to me. Submit the assignment, and you're done. If you can get a Hello World sent to me, then you have installed Eclipse correctly. The Hello World should compile, it should run, it should ask me for my name, I should be able to type my name, and it should say hello to me. You get all that done, and you've got full credit for this assignment. If you have any problems, either with the install or with creating a folder, with zipping a file, there are a lot of different steps there. If you have any trouble, any problems at all, send me an email. Come to my office hours. We'll Skype, whatever you need to do. I will help you through this. Good luck and have some fun.